You feel like fever, fever, every night. Fever, fever, when we fight. Fever, fever, in my head, in my mind. I was blinded by your lies. You were never real. You built me up and broke me down. This is how I feel. I was blinded by your lies. You left me all alone. You built me up and broke me down. Shattered every bone. I was blinded by your lies. You left me all alone. You built me up and broke me down. Shattered every bone. Rising like the sun, I'll be moving on. How could I ever be with you after all you put me through? I've been holding on to you, I was dumb. Trying to hurt me with those words, I was numb. You felt like fever, fever, and my heart fell apart. I was blinded by your lies. You were never real. You built me up and broke me down. This is how I feel.
Welcome everybody. Give me just a second. Getting all set up for you.
I was blinded by your lies. You left me all alone. Built me up and broke me down. Shattered every bone. I was blind. Your love was never Your love was never Try to forget what you said. Try to forget what you said. I'm tired of waiting, and these blue suburbs fading. If you wanna take it back, you can. But just remember that I know you're around. My sight is jaded, and I can't change it. I can't ever take it back again. Stifle my words so you'll be heard. Tell myself it doesn't hurt. It's too much to fix with your touch. Won't even convince me with love. I just can't win or lose with you. So tell me, what do I do? I'm always nipped up in my head, trying my best to forget what you said. You should have known. Try to forget what you said. So lost, the line has been crossed for the last time, and I'm not in my phone. Help you find your way back. Stars contract you and you fade into black. Our time is jaded, and I can't change.
And it would help if I unmuted my mic. I'm a professional streamer. Hey everybody, Welcome to the stream today. We're going to be talking about Borg Part 2, the wrap-up. What do y'all think? Because y'all's opinion is more important than my opinion. I'm just one person. Y'all are hundreds, thousands, millions. Not millions. Tens of thousands, though. Hundreds of thousands, but not millions. If we had 1 million people in this game, it'd be pretty dope. That'd be really cool. But we got a lot of people. So, my mic stand's still flippy. I got to change it out after the stream. So, I'll be real curious to see what people's thoughts are. I am admittedly pretty negative, and I'm curious if chat kind of talks me off of a ledge, because I strongly disliked this month, but I don't want my opinion to influence anybody else. Like, I thought the events were awful. I'm going to give the event grading a pretty bad grade. I love the Talios. Absolutely love the Talios. The Talios refinery is really good in some ways, meh in others. You know, so I want to go through and get the community's ideas. Now, I will say, I want y'all's raw thoughts. If y'all want early access to the grading rubric, it is in chat. I will be sharing it out periodically. And what I'm going to do is my grading video comes out tomorrow. For those that are unaware, every month I do a grading video. We do have a grading rubric though, what we actually use to consistently and try to make sure that our answers are uniform throughout this year. We have a rubric that we're using, and we have this available where y'all can kind of provide your input, and y'all let me know what you think about each individual piece. There are pieces that are required that you must answer if you participate. There are some that are optional. So you can do this survey in literally 40 seconds, or you can do it in 40 minutes. It's completely up to you. It starts off with just answering ops level and region, and we'll then expand into detailed questions, and we'll look at that in a bit. But we're going to wait for everybody to get in, and we're going to talk about various things going on in the game and how maybe I can help you in the game. Tonight, I've actually got a town hall with server 93, one of the newer servers in the game. I'm very excited about it. Teaching new players the game and answering questions. I had to make some coffee for it. So let's start getting into some of the chats. John Paul says, this is the first arc that I didn't feel like I needed to do everything. I know it's repetitious, but the grind is getting too much. Now, John Paul, you mentioned that. I was actually talking to Ultimate DJ yesterday, and look, DJ's kind of the same way. And it's kind of weird, because I'm kind of the opposite. Like, surprisingly, let me go check. I am actually going to finish the overflow for the first time in months. I actually participated every single day. And that doesn't mean I necessarily enjoyed all the events, but I did stay pretty engaged, and I didn't really fall off here at the end. I don't know if that was just me enjoying the community, or if that was the game itself simply doing a good job with its end of month event structure. Yeah, I didn't fall off at the end, and I'm actually going to finish an overflow, which is pretty rare for me. And I think that says something as a positive, but as a whole, I feel negative about a lot of parts of this month. And I want to talk about them just to get y'all's thoughts. Artie says, tearing up the Talios, that is, building is worth it. But tearing the Talios may or may not even be worth it because you needed directives for the events and any credits. Now, for me, here was my strategy for the month. Now, I have the Talios. I don't have it out right now, but I can put it out real quick so y'all can see it. It is a beautiful ship. I absolutely do love it. I really do love my Talios. Now, keep in mind that I'm a little bit biased when it comes to Talios because I'm a pirate. So I tend to really love ships like this. It is not a one-trick pony. It is a legitimate PvP ship, legitimate grinder. I mean, it's good at doing multiple things. So I value the Talios more than some people do. But because of that, I didn't focus on... Let me go ahead and say this real quick. I did not do a single expansion cube personally this entire month. I ignored expansion cubes. Does that make expansion cubes bad? I mean, I don't think they were worth it. I think the Talios is too important. I think the value of the Talios and the Vidar has always been faction credits and independent credits. And officer sourcing, while good, is secondary. The expansion cube mechanic to me was just too complicated, too annoying. I didn't bother with it. Now, I did do a lot of math on the expansion cubes, thanks to wonderful members of the community like yourself. I have a ton of logs for expansion cubes, so I've got to see them in action. And to be honest, the returns on if you did the actual chest were pretty good overall in terms of like what you're getting. I was looking at a chest yesterday, somebody pulled, you got 8 queen shards, which is pretty daggone good. But the amount of work, coordination, effort that has to go into it, combined with the ridiculousness that is the grind in this game as it is, I just felt overall it wasn't worth my time. But because of that, I actually think I enjoyed the month more. And that's probably a negative and a positive at the same time. And this is where y'all's comments is so big, because I took out a part of this month's game and enjoyed the month more, but that it probably speaks to that being a bad thing, right? So Tara says expansion cube way too complicated and not everyone knew what to do. Now I will take some of the blame on that because several people did ask, hey Rev, are you going to make an expansion cube video? And eventually I will. I try not to make content that I don't personally film myself. Now, if you're watching this, you are more than welcome to send me anything you record in game. So if you want to record your Sanctus coming out, you want to record your Dederadex, you want to record expansion cubes, well, I mean, if you give me the material that I can provide as a visual aid, I can make a video without doing it myself. And I've done that plenty of times in the past, but I didn't make any content on the expansion cube. I don't think DJ did either. It's just, I think it speaks to that feature just being blah. Now, I will say real quick, it's not like the feature was broken like Assaults, like just incredibly bad and stupid. It's just not fun. I think that's all it is to it. Like Assaults was bad because Assaults was bad. And I think expansion cubes personally are bad just because they're not fun. And that was kind of my thing coming into when I'm looking at the grading rubric again, put up on the screen. Again, I will continue to share this throughout chat. If y'all want to participate, there is the link right there. Share this out with your friends, family, everybody on your server, your Discord. In particular, by the way, if you are from the EU, do we have any EU players in the chat? Do we have any EU players in the chat? If we do, I would love to see you just pipe up real quick because I actually need your help. I need your help. If you have any EU players in the chat, Hugo's here, Ian, being good. So just because I try to always share with, oh, good, there's a lot of y'all. Yay. This is really good. So here's why I actually need your help. Last month, I did the grading rubric. We did the same thing last month, as we typically do, right? Y'all have kind of gotten used to this. Only 25% of my responses were from the EU. Yet, the EU makes up about 35 to 40% of this game. So if you are watching now, one of the reasons I decided to share out the grading rubric here on Sunday, as well as do my video tomorrow, and I'll get grades during the week, is I need more EU players to participate so that I can get a better rounded response. Because if I'm getting mostly Americans, the patch 50 grading rubric that we did was about 69% Americans, or US servers, I'm sorry. Brazil is part of that, Mexico, Canada, but you're all US servers. Because they don't grade them as North America servers. They're listed as US servers. That's 69%, but they're not, that's more than they are in the game. So I want to make sure that the grading rubric properly reflects y'all in the game. So if y'all could help me out, share it out with your alliances, with your servers, I would greatly, greatly appreciate that. Greatly, greatly appreciate it. ATX says, what is the best crew for raiding / PvP with Enterprise Tier 2? That's going to be Rom. Again, depends on what you got. I would say Rom, Honor Guard, Worf, and probably, I want to say Kirk, but Tier 2 Enterprise is so low. Appreciate it, IGR. Anyway, that was just my request to y'all if you're from the EU. I mean, I want the US players to help as well, but I'm hoping to get a more well-rounded survey in February. Last month was our first time using the grading rubric, first time doing it in this strategy. I want to make sure I'm getting a proper representation of all the players. Pax says the expansion cube isn't fun because you have to do too much coordination to get the expansion exocomp. Then you have to burn a solo armada, which means you have to punch down to ensure you're getting the exo without risking losing the armada. Less return of investment overall. Okay, so short answer. For those who are unaware of how this works, the expansion cubes, what you have to do is take your pretty Talios, and you have to take your Talios out and beat a solo armada. And then you will get a 1 hour exocomp that automatically turns on that you need as a group to go after an expansion cube. And what I mean as a group, the expansion cubes are located right next to basically every system. I think I went to one of them. Which one? I went to one of them. I don't remember which one I went to. Was it the one over here? Yeah, I went to the one over here. And of course, it's Fog of War, so I'd have to send a ship there. We'll send a ship there just so y'all can see it. But you need everybody to go do a solo, and then in that same hour, everybody's got the buff activated on the Talios. And you're right, Steven, you don't need to use the tally, but you do need to do a solo. Ease of use is to tell people to use the Talios. Ease of use. I'm aware you don't have to use the Talios, but for ease of use, we're going to tell people that's the design mechanic. So you run a solo armada, this exocomp turns on, and now you take your Talios to the expansion cube as a group, and then everybody with the buff goes on and gets an expansion cube. There's a lot of coordination, it's a lot of work, and it's more work than any other armada in the game. Cause Regal's not Fog of War. Oh my gosh, my coffee is getting cold. My coffee is getting cold. We're going to switch to another drink. Well, we're already 2 minutes away, so we'll just get there. So, just ease of use, by the way, because you don't technically have to use the Talios, but at the same time, you do need the Talios for the expansion cube, even though you could just bring a freaking level 60 ship if you wanted to. I try to make sure we keep all that. Besides, as it was always Scopely's intention, so they very well could change that. But what is the best Klingon ship to do Borg solos and Borg expansion cube? Again, Dustin, you really don't want to use a Klingon ship. You technically could, but you want to use the Talios versus expansion cube. And this is kind of why I really try to push just use the Talios for the sphere, so you're doing everything at once instead of trying to remember multiple steps. But yes, Lee. 5 people need to do the solo first, or 6 people, and then go to the expansion armada. And this is why we talked about the complexities of this feature just being too much, I think, for a lot of people. Too much to be enjoyable, that is. And that's kind of why, I chose not to participate at all. Just because I see how it works. I understand the math of the game, and there will definitely be those from Scopely who argue with me and say, well, you need to do something to experience it. I don't think you do. I think you can study the math of something. I think you can look at how something works and decide whether you're going to enjoy it or not. And I've seen how it works. I've got the math. I've got tons of logs of it because plenty of y'all have done them. And then I've got the rewards. I can see the reward in my refinery, which, shocker to everybody listening, by the way, there is, in fact, a cooldown on your expansion cube exchange. So there you go. There you go. Appreciate you, Falcon, coming through and dropping the links. Appreciate you. Steven says, I think a quick fix would be to make the Talios buff not pop automatically. Make it manual so people can choose. And I do agree, Steven, that would help it. And also expand it past 1 hour. I think it should be, if it's going to be an auto buff, then it needs to last 12 hours. If it's going to be the best particular setup, I think it needs to be manually activated. But I still don't necessarily like it. Even in that structure, I don't like the piggyback method here. Don't make a player go do something to do another thing. That is literally the definition of grind. We're already complaining, oh, we got to do hostile grinding before we go do this and that and the other. Well, this is the opposite of what you're asking for. So yes, that does make it better, but I still don't know if that necessarily makes it enjoyable. All right, we're in the system now. You can see the big red expansion cubes, and you can see the power on these things is absolutely massive. Hence you do really, really, really want to be using a Talios and everybody having a buff, because the buff makes the cube weaker. So, Wet says Scopely needs to embrace the KISS principle. For those who are unfamiliar with that acronym, it is Keep It Simple, Stupid. KISS stands for Keep It Simple, Stupid. So, I agree with you. Server done. Thank you, Lord Ass. You don't need the Talios either. Alex, you do really want the Talios because it's going to have the biggest advantage fighting expansion cubes. Again, as I said, you can technically use other things. Not the best advice for 99% of the player base. How do we get the Talios? Ilmarine. The Talios can be obtained for free forever through missions once you have a max Vidar and have reached level 35. And that's one thing I do love about this month, is the Talios sourcing. It is 100% free to play. and it is 100% available to everybody who maxes out their Vidar and is level 35 plus. I have confirmed multiple times that the missions will persist past this month, so the sourcing will continue to be the 2 different missions you do and will remain in the holodeck. So Simon says, can anyone advise if they're having the same issue as me when I've had my Ops 45 account replaced with Ops 22? Simon, that's happened to literally tons of people. It had to do with an issue with iOS doing an update. If you have a Scopely ID, you can flip this around. Contact customer support is the easiest way. They are prioritizing those tickets, Simon. Yeah, exactly what Nathan says. You could take an Ops 60 ship instead of the Tally, but it's not going to be cheap. The Talios is literally designed to be the most optimal route for expansion cubes. You don't have to do that, but it is the design. It is the best way, in my opinion, to go about doing it, but it's not the only way. It is not the only way. And there we go. Rev actually finished an overflow. It's pretty rare to do that. Which Kirk? The Kelvin Kirk. Original Kirk, not TOS Kirk, regular Kirk. Elaborate what features you want us to grade for your survey? Well, first off, I think the survey kind of does it, but you know what? Let's do it together. I'm going to do one together with y'all. Now, I'll have to go back and erase this because I'm not going to do this. Is not my official grading. I've got to sit down tonight and really actually have some things that I said do, but I'm going to say, okay, I'm level 45 US, hit next. And then this actually provides your grading rubric. Now, real quick, the only thing that gets counted is primary grades. I'll explain that. So this is the officers. Personally, I don't think the officers this month were worth doohickey. The best officer released in February was Tal. And none of them are must-have. None of them are even great. They are just nice to have if you eventually get them. The Menace, thank you for signing up to be a cadet. Thank you for supporting the channel. I really appreciate it. So for me, I give it a D. Optional, y'all can give in-depth answers, and I always encourage people to do that. But if you're trying to do it the fast way, we just push through. Now, I will say, my ship is going to give a +1 grading to this. My Talios is going to give a +1 grade because I think the Talios 1 was fantastic. Plus, it had immediate free-to-play sourcing, the fastest free-to-play sourcing we've ever seen for a new ship in the game. Fastest ever, so that's a bonus. Now, the feature, the only part that will count towards the grade, like when I do the overall grade, is this right here. But I did want people to go into specifics. These are optional. You don't have to do the grading for Talios, Refinery, Expansion Cube, or Hailing Frequency. You only have to do the grade for features, which overall, I'm giving features a D this month. I've already decided that one. The Talios Refinery is a B. It does have some problems. Expansion Cubes, I'm sorry. It's bad. I honestly think expansion cubes are F level. I really do. Hey, Thief, good to see you. They're assaults level bad, but for a completely different reason. But I do think they could be better. I do think with changes, you could push expansion cubes up to maybe a C. I don't think expansion cubes will ever be an A. Personal opinion, this is why we want your thoughts, because Rev is not everybody, okay? And then hailing frequencies is a C for me. There are plenty of people who hate it. I love that you can actually turn it off. I enjoy them, like they're okay, and I know a lot of players, believe it or not, who actually do really like them, but it's a C for me. Overall, though, features are a D, but just so that myself, Archduke, and everybody who actually goes through the grades of this, we can actually see what y'all think about these. But the only one that actually counts when we do an overall grading is the feature grading. So we hit next. We have the event calendar. Again, I've already said my opinion on the event calendar. Between the PvP events that were pointless and crap, the extremely high milestones, we had a lot of imbalanced events. Again, the rubric is right here at the top. Players could only reasonably participate in a minority of events without paying. That's how I felt. There were a lot of heroics, there were XSLBs, there were milestones that were stupid high even for SMSs. There were choices you had to make between, you know, upgrading Talios versus participating in events. To me, this is the definition of a D. This is the definition of a D for the event calendar. Even though it had a lot of events, there were even a couple of days where you couldn't do anything. There were a couple of empty days of there was nothing there. It's actually one this past week. So yeah, and that doesn't even count, Steve, you mentioning the Syndicate one increased where even players weren't able to normally get the first level. So I give the event calendar a D. And then final grading is going to be grading and communication stability. I think communication and stability this month were solid. which is a B. There were no egregious bugs. The only egregious issue this month was the iOS issue. Not to give Scopely a scapegoat, but that was not on Scopely's fault. That actually was how Apple did some changes, and it hit the game really weird. It hit many games really weird that were using an ID system that was secondary. So that one I don't blame them particularly for. So comms and stuff is mad. I don't think it was great, but I don't think it was bad either. So I think it was a solid B month. And then there it is. There's your submit button if you want to go and submit, and there's the form. There's the form. I'm going to go ahead and clear because, again, these are not my answers yet. I've not finished mine, but there's my general thoughts. Steve says it took 14 days to launch an event. Competently scored, screwing incorrect descriptions. There you go, Steve. And again, this is why I'm giving the event scoring a D this month. And I don't have the overall grade. I'm pretty sure my overall grade will be leaning in the D range. Now, last month, when we composited all of your grades, we had 1,100 players participate in the patch 50. So far, I think we've got like 50 people who have done patch 51's grading rubric. We had like 1,100 people who did last month. Abilities an F? Jesse, I don't think it's fair to give it an F, but that's okay. I mean, you're more than welcome to do that. But, yeah, last month, y'all, after we averaged everybody together, it was around a C+, B- was last month's grade from what y'all provided. This month, I think it was going to be much lower, but I could be wrong. Rockness says new Epic officer sourcing is horrible. I think not only is the officer sourcing not great, I don't necessarily think it's horrible because it does, anytime there's an Epic officer that has immediate sourcing, I got to give it a little bit of credit, even though I think expansion cubes suck. My big thing is the officers this month are just not needed. They're not good. Like we did, for those who don't know, we have a Twitch channel. And if you've not come out and checked out the Twitch channel, we did 2 days of straight pure math testing on the new crews and going over how they work. And there's just no real reason to be excited about them. Like they're just, the effect is very minimal. Now, Lord Ass says, why make an Epic officer? No captain's ability. I have no problem with that in particular because Tendy's an Epic officer and Tendy's amazing. Like everybody in this chat probably loves Tendy. I love Tendy. Mariner is an Epic officer and all below deck, and I'm okay with that. Hell, Hugh is a below deck officer with no captain's ability, and I'm okay with that. There are some Epics that are below deck officers that are great. The Borg Queen's just not. The Borg Queen's just not. So that's kind of where I'm at. Dustin says, why does any officer sourcing seem to have better days and bad sourcing days? Well, Dustin, it just becomes who's designing features, I guess. I will say officer sourcing in 2023, if we're just talking about sourcing officers this year, is the best we've ever started off a year. Okay? Just keeping things fair. The way this year has started with just sourcing is the best we've ever had. That said, the officers themselves have not been great. Like last month's officers were good. I love Hugh. I really, really like Hugh. I thought last month's officers were all really good. This month's officers are all blah at best. Blah at best. Now, Samus says 3 unannounced pay events and 2 back-to-back. I will say real quick, Samus, that the leaderboards we got this month were because players were requesting leaderboards. Now, that doesn't mean they were requesting XSLBs. I don't think anybody out there was requesting XSLBs, but there were players requesting leaderboards. That's why they got added. But I still will say that even those were just like blah. But, I mean, there are people going for them. On my level 29 account, I am going for a strike team on. But obviously, as you can see on my main account, I don't care. I don't care. I gave up on trying to do Borg Spheres. Can't beat them. Grim, I'm pretty sure you can. You just don't know that you can. But we can work with you. Again, hit me up on Discord. I try to help out any player I can individually. I answer. You can ask people. There are sometimes I miss DMs, but I respond to every DM eventually. That is like kind of my thing. I'm really big on that. All right, just responded to a question while this was happening. Anyone else feel the officers were weighted differently from the pulls? 5 shards off, tier 2 goes, but 25 out of 40 for Dayzoc. They all should be equal RNG, just that doesn't mean it's great RNG, right? So the way the new Borg chests work, both the solo chest and the expansion cube, is you are guaranteed officer shards, but it's not guaranteed which one you're going to get. Now Marty says Goes is trash. Honestly, I think all 3 of them are trash. The assimilate ability is not very good. It's meh at best. And you need Goza and the Borg Queen to both be tier 4-ish before you see a significant improvement. I got tier 2 Goza, and we were doing testing where, if y'all were here on the Twitch channel, y'all probably saw this. We were doing testing, Enterprise versus Enterprise, Katinga versus Katinga, Strike Team versus Strike Team. And I was getting like a 3% improvement to my mitigation after the entire fight. I mean, and that's with a tier 2 Goza. That's just not good. Like, that's nothing that's going to get players going, I'm spending money for that, or I'm going to grind really hard for that. There's just not a lot of particular value there. So, did we do a crystal event 2 days ago? I'm sorry, real quick pause in the chat. Did we do Crystal Friday? I feel like we mined Crystal Friday. I'm sorry. Today was supposed to be ore, isn't it? Well, add that to the list of things that make no sense. And see, there you go. That's why I have a D for this month. You're talking about, well, Rev, maybe you're being harsh on the event calendar. No, you give me 2, and I know that might seem like a silly thing, but I actually need to mine ore. Like, I'm actually low on ore. I'm trying to prep for bonus refineries and stuff, but now I got to go mine crystal instead. So, yeah, there you go. This is an example of why I'm personally giving the event calendar a D for this month. Just little things like this. I mean, is it completely awful? No, because one thing that was good this month, the payouts were really good this month. So, like, I can't fail this month. Between the Dabo table style the Dabo style event store, and the events themselves, payouts in terms of like uncommons and materials was really good. So I can't fail it. But in terms of overall construction, completability, I'm definitely giving this month a D. And I'll talk about that in a little bit more detail tomorrow. Hey, Red Nevil, how you doing? Mining 3 million trip was my favorite part. Yeah, that's on the mission team. For those that don't know, the Arc Runner does not control the missions. The missions are set up by there's a narrative team, there's a feature team, like ones who design combat, ones who design things like Starbase. There's Arc Runners who do the events. Those are all different people. So the mission people really pissed everybody off with the 3 million and 5 million titanium mining, but that's not the Arc Runner. The Arc Runners don't design missions. There's a whole team that does missions. So the team that did missions, whoever did missions, and I don't know who they are, that's who pissed everybody off with the missions. So, yeah, that was, ugh. And look, guess who didn't even bother with that mission? Rev. So you guess what that means? Because Rev ignored that mission, Rev's not going to even be able to complete Tour of Duty, and I honestly don't care. Honestly don't care. And I don't even say that in a negative way. I actually love this paradigm that I've adopted. I have gotten to where I ignore my desire to complete everything. I'm ignoring my OCD. And when I tell you that I enjoy the game more by just choosing what I want to do, I'm telling y'all. By the way, just a reminder, for those that are in the EU, do me a huge solid. I would love, by the end of this stream today, we have 200 people who do the survey, particularly from the EU. We've had 60 people do it so far, and only 39% of you are from the EU. I need my EU people to step up. This feedback goes directly to the dev team. This feedback goes directly to them, okay? I actually have meetings where I show them this information. So as annoyed as you might be this month, as problematic as you might think a month might have been, it is imperative that you help with these type of surveys. Because look, no offense to Scopely surveys, but I am a firm believer that player-led surveys are more impactful, because I believe player-led surveys give a better scope of what's actually there. I feel like most people who do, and maybe I'm wrong, and I very well could be, Rev has been wrong before. I feel that people who do surveys from the game tend to be happier players. who don't have as much to complain about. Because I'll be honest, I log into the game, I'm already frustrated. I see the survey, I click off of it. I'm like, I'm not bothering with you right now. I'm already frustrated at you. I'm not doing your survey. So player-led surveys to me are better, but that's a bias. I'm leading the survey. So I'm biased. But anyway, the point is these surveys do go directly to the team. We do have meetings about them. And I think I've already finished the event. I needed to go home. Yeah, I'm done. We're going to switch that up. They will do a player survey about the survey results. I doubt it. I do think the survey team does a good job, by the way. I think the survey team Scopely has. I'm not saying they do a bad job. I'm just saying that the people who respond to those surveys are different than the people who respond to a lot of my surveys. That's all I'm saying. You know, and I want to make sure that we get a solid scope. And look, there's been times where I've been wrong, right? There have been times where I thought players thought a certain way, and they didn't. Remember last month, I was real big about the Vidar and like how many people had maxed it, only to find out only 6% of people had maxed the Vidar in the game. So, yeah, there you go. The Fat Bearded says survey bias is a real thing as a math nerd. So my hope, Fat Bearded math teacher, is that by having multiple surveys, like player-led surveys from content creators and in-game surveys, together, they get a well-rounded idea of what needs to be done. Sugar Fat Man says, I do your surveys because you put in a better mood than the game. Well, good. My goal is to make you enjoy the game, enjoy the community, and have a good time. And there were good things this month. The Talios is, I will die on this hill. Talios is an amazing addition. Love it. Absolutely love it. And Hugo, I don't know your mud question. I don't know your mud question for the expansion cube. I've not looked into that. Brentley says, just got my Vidar a few weeks back and glad you recommended it. Happy to, man. And I think you're going to enjoy the Vidar as a ship. I enjoy it just as a ship, regardless of the grind. And I still bring out my Vidar on my low-level account and enjoy having that. Thank you, Gibbs. I appreciate it. You're breaking my concentration on my raid. Good, Matthew. Even though I'm glad you're raiding, make sure you're using Baitor, Stan, 4 of 11 on your amalgam. Maximum loot, baby. Maximum loot. Get that maximum loot in. Gonzalez. The survey we're doing is every month now. We have a grading rubric where we as a community grade what's going on this month. We grade the features. We grade the options. We grade the ships. We grade everything. And then we provide that feedback directly to game design and the dev team. So if you would help and be so kind to not only participate, but to share it out, you will help tremendously. Tremendous. Cam says, what tier is your Talios? Mine is almost tier 3. So if I hit my upgrade button right here, I've got one component left. And after I do my refine today, I'll have a tier 3 Talios. And I do prioritize Talios upgrading over expansion cubes and stuff like that. Getting the Talios up and going is more important than solo armadas for Borg and expansion cube. In my opinion, much more important. But I'm curious if anybody disagrees with that. I believe that just like you would focus on the discovery first, you should focus on the Talios first and then go back and do the other things. I can actually do some Borg solo pulls because I got some leftover currency. So let's see what we get. Transporter patterns, loot, and there's my stuff. But actually, let me do my double pull. Bam. 48K. We're actually going to go ahead and upgrade our Talios because there is an event going on right now. But what I'm going to do first is go turn on my events. I forgot. So, Gonzalez, I'm sharing it out throughout chat. Sharing it out throughout chat. Just click that link. Solar Armadas are better with tier 9 ships. I mean, once you get your Talios, it's just how Dominions work. Like the Defiant is better on your Dominion solos once it's tiered appropriately. It's like a tier 2 Talios is not going to outperform my Katinga, right? But once my Talios gets to tier 5 or tier 6, when it's level appropriate, my Talios will be my primary Borg ship. When it gets to that level. But it's not there yet. It's not there yet. And it's going to take time to get it there. Herc says disagree a bit there, getting some solos in to do SMS events, gets progress on Talios, and that's fine, Herc. I'm talking about it in general, not necessarily this month, because I did still do solos this month. Obviously, you saw I have currency. But if we're talking about generalized upgrade path, You know, and we're not talking about a Borg month because today's the last day of Borg. March is not a Borg month. Hillis, I'll answer your Tau question in a second. Next month is not a Borg month. We have a new art coming. So, generally speaking, you're going to want to focus on upgrading the Talios before doing anything else with those charged nanopros. Now, I understand if you kind of split it a little bit because this month was designed for you to, you know, kind of focus on multiple things. But generally speaking, I'm going to push people to upgrade first. Now that I've turned my events on, we're going to do that now. Boop. All right, so as far as what I think, Tau is good for 3 things in today's current game. 3 things in particular. If those 3 things have value for you, you can choose to purchase them. Number 1, Tau is really good for base defense. Really good for base defense. Number 2, Tau will change your Actian hostile grinding, particularly if you're a higher level player. If you're in the 40s, Tau will make Actian much faster with much more cargo. So, huge improvement for that. And third is he can also be an improvement for your grind when it comes to taking on heavy traders in capital systems. Those are his primary values or primary bonuses. If any of those things or all of those things have value to you, then maybe yes, you should go after and buy it. I'm not buying Tau, but I'm also 1 shard away, and I can't reason with myself to go spend $50 for 1 shard. I will wait for whatever free-to-play path eventually comes and slowly get my 1 Tau shard. Now, he will get free-to-play sourcing. They've already announced that. He will have a sourcing path, but we don't know what that is yet. Because obviously, anytime something new comes out in the game, there's going to be a paid option before there's a free option. And that's just the natural state of Star Trek Fleet Command. So, what event is there for upgrading my Talios? There's no event for upgrading my Talios, damn Skippy, but we do have the SMS right now for spending material. Which I haven't even made to the first level, but if I'm going to spin, then I might as well do it when there's an event going on. And I'm probably not going to do anything there or complete anything, but oh well, no big deal. Perks says blew all warp cells on Brawl today. Now we have events for killing probes. Have to wait for my 2 new cells. Rip doodle dandy on that one. By the way, Falcon, thank you for sharing out the merch. By the way, if y'all do want to help out the channel, 1, complete the survey. You haven't done it already. But we also have a merch store I encourage you to check out. That way you can actually get something for supporting a content creator. We've got stickers, t-shirts, crop tops. Everybody in this chat would look good in this crop top. I'm telling you, everybody in this chat would look good in this crop top. You need the crop top. OPC is OPC t-shirts. Make sure that everybody in your server knows that OPC is always OPC. Take that loot. We love pirates, etc. Check out the store. It is revdeuce.com. Greatly appreciate y'all for helping out and being participants here. Ops 39 is still a viable camping spot. 100%, yes. In my opinion, it is. I still believe in that because there's so many things to complete in this game. And as I remind players, there is no point in leveling up. There is no end game. The best way, in my personal opinion, to enjoy this game is to enjoy it by completing the big pieces that happen at various points. You leveling up does not, you don't win the game. Level 60 is nothing. Level 60 does not provide anything crazy. It just doesn't. You know, all it does is provide you, massive repair bills. It doesn't make the game bad. It just means that this is not a game designed about getting to the top. This is a game designed about being really good as you progress, collecting and improving on what you're doing. So I think camping at 39 is still the strat. Now, every month, so this month and November had different leaderboard brackets, which makes it very difficult to have the same level of advantage that 39 used to, but I still am a very firm believer in setting milestones and achieving certain goals. So, you sure you want to see a chubby white dude in a crop top? I am, Zolartan. I am. I definitely want to see everybody in this chat in a crop top. All of you. All of you. But Talios, do we lose the boost of probe grinding we get with the Infinitive skin? So the Infinitive skin does not apply to the Talios, no. Now, I will say, as you level up your Talios, you'll notice that it picks up probes a lot faster because the probes are a lot larger when you get to this level of space. Like if you go look at the 46s, see what they pay out. Each hit's paying out 27. That doesn't count any type of research or anything like that. 27,000. And I think with my exocomps activated on my Talios and the skin and running 5 of 11, I get around 45, 50,000 a hit against 33s. So your Talios will eventually pass everything that Vidar did. It's not day one. Just built my first G3 Epic ship this month. Thanks for all your tips. Mark, very excited for you. Which one did you go for? If you don't mind me asking. Which one did you go for? Alex says, I'm not bothering with the Talios. Vidar with the blue and green loot. Buff bringing me needed 55 from 1036 kills. Nice. Again, Alex, don't bother with Talios now, but still upgrade it because you are going to want the larger hull, and it will outperform eventually. But I will say the best thing about the Talios to me is still this refinery, which I could actually do a double pull if I want to. But the independent credits and the faction credit sourcing is absolutely incredible. I absolutely love the faction and independent credit payouts for the Talios. Taking out the Enterprise. We love the Enterprise, man. Nothing wrong with choosing the Enterprise. Nothing at all. Still haven't updated your merch store in the description. Oh, hey, so I updated it in my regular videos. I haven't updated it in the live streams. Let me do that real quick. I'm gonna do that right now. Thank you. Appreciate you. RevDeuce.com and save. Now the description of this video is updated. I did update it in the regular videos. Enterprise is perfectly balanced. That's a different video for a different day. Right now we're talking about Borg Part 2, but Enterprise is not, collective bargaining. Enterprise is not as OP as it used to be, but the Enterprise is still a fantastic ship, and you will struggle to find people who don't enjoy using it. So it is a fantastic ship. That's still cap at 28, and so for how long? NJ 28/29 is really about completing objectives. How long you sit somewhere is not the point. Do you have a Stella? Do you have a Vidar? Do you have a Meridian? Do you have a Discovery? Do you have a Franklin? Do you have a Devore? Do you have a Botany Bay? Where are your specialty ships at? Do you have a faction ship from level 28? Where are your officers at? Have you unlocked, Pike, Moreau, Chin? All of these things are what we're focusing on. Not necessarily time spent, but milestones reached. That's the point of camping. I think sometimes that's gotten lost when people talk about it because they're like, hey, I camped at 39 for a year. I don't think a free-to-play needs to camp at 39 for a year. I was talking to a friend of mine who's been a follower for a long time. And they were talking about they were at level 35 for a year and wanted to quit the game. I'm like, well, just level up. Like you're set. Like there's no point for you to be sitting there. And then they go to 39 and now there's so much to do and they're enjoying things again. Camping is about reaching milestones, which is not time-based. Because if you're a spender who spends $20 a month or $100 a month, your ability to complete things is different than if you're pure free-to-play. And if you spend 8 hours in the game a day versus somebody who spends 2 hours in the game a day, your time to complete tasks and milestones is different. So it's more about completing milestones. And then you can focus on, okay, camping at certain levels based on that. To me, that's what it should be about. I think that's a better way to look at it. It's not about time spent. It's more about, are you achieving everything that makes you a good player for your level? Because look, I run into players all the time. Here's one I was actually just talking to yesterday. Level 39. Gonna blow your mind, Joe. Doesn't have a Franklin. Now it doesn't have a Franklin A. Doesn't have a Franklin. So, again, this is not to shame them, but to say that most people in this chat are better players, yes. Yes. What's a good crew for Tal doing Borg probes? I wouldn't probably ever use Tal against Borg probes, to be honest with you, John. I wouldn't use Tal against Borg probes. I would use them against Actian hostiles, but not Borg probes. I put the Franklin on the back burner for now, Ops 28. But see, Brentley, here's the thing. You're going to want that Franklin Max by level 35 so that you can get a Franklin A for free. So, like, that's the thing. And this is why I focus so much on milestones. Because the Franklin's important to have as high as you can take it each level. So that you're ready for the big milestones that come right around the corner. And if you're not paying attention, you might slip up and be like, damn, hit level 35 and now you can't do it. Vidar, Stella, some more appealing. And I will say the Vidar is more important overall than the Franklin. But the Stella, as I talked about, the Stella's research is more important for a level 40 plus player than a level 28 player. So for me, Stella's more of a focus in the 30s. And you're going to want to have that Franklin as high as you can get. That's just my personal take. You know, we talk about M score, like we're talking about milestone setting. If you're listening to the sound of my voice, I get asked all the time, where should my M score be at level 39? At level 39, your M score should at least be M score 80, which means you're halfway through the Outlaw research tree. Minimum. That is 11 levels above you, Brent. You got time. But at the same time, that Franklin, the biotics research, I love rating in this game. I really do. Y'all see I've got materials out the wazoo at the top of your screen. That's actually not a lot of resources. It might look like a lot of resources to y'all, but I actually can blow through all that really, really fast. But the biotics turn-in is super valuable, especially in the 30s. Now, again, like anything for me, as I'm leveling up, it does have a less value now. But this is what I'm pulling every day. This is what I pull every day from my biotics. About 130 million tritanium a day. The biotics update with the Franklin A was a huge boon to the Star Trek Fleet Command economy. And then here I'm pulling about $30 million lithium a day. That's a big deal. And if you don't have that, you know, if you don't have that set up and that structure ready when you hit those levels, you're going to be missing out on that. And which means that you have to then focus more on rating if you're running low on resources. And maybe that's more time for you to spend in the game. So, and correct, Russell Hound, I don't have the prime. There is a prime for that actually increases it, as you said, by 500%. I will say that I hate primes like that. You should not make something relevant in the game. Like there is a Stella skin and there's the Biotics Prime. I hate both of those. It should not require me to spend $100 to keep something relevant. Like the Assimilation skin is very good. I refuse to spend money on it. I hate what they added to the Stella skin is literally locked behind a paywall. What I mean by that is this. It lets you exchange particles for 4-star and 5-star materials once you're at Outlaw. Now, if you're not aware, you can already do that for 3-star materials. This skin they just brought out with no free-to-play path makes the Stella useful for an exchange boat later on. So I don't like that that's how that came out. Sniper, I want to say a big thank you. Thank you for sending the third $20 through a super chat. I appreciate it. If anybody wants to support the channel, here are the donate links. As a content creator, well, I require and rely on y'all helping out, so I really appreciate it. Whether you do the merch store or whether you do the donates, all of it is greatly appreciated. Thank y'all for even just being here. You're all amazing. Anyway, just thoughts as y'all are going through these various things. And this is one thing I love about the game. There's a lot of depth here, but a lot of things to go after. A lot of things to go after. Skippy says, Fleet Commander Lakuta skill question. If it mentions Vidar, does that also apply to the Talios? I do not believe so, no, but ask me after the stream and I'll go verify that. I'm pretty sure it does not. But we can check it out. How's that foundation work? I haven't started, Vinny. I've got to raise the money for that. For those that don't know, my house I just bought. Apparently, everything was missed on the inspections. I'm raising money to do the foundation repair. I've got to get at least half the money as a down payment before it can even start. So. Question on Solar Armadas. Does it make sense to run both Lorca on one ship and Gorka on another? No, it does not. You only need hull breach. One to launch hull breach. The way that hull breach and burning both work is they affect the target, meaning in a solo armada, the target is burning or the target has hull breach. Any of the 3 ships can take advantage of that. You do not need to have multiple versions of the same prop. That frees you up to run another critical officer, or run another mitigation officer. So no, you do not need both Gorkon and Lorca in a solo armada. So you don't need both. Just pick one. Generally, I run Lorca just because my Lorca is decently tiered, but if you got like a high tier Gorkon, it would be more valuable for you, depends situationally. So Unless your Lorca / Gorkon is going to die early. Your ability should still persist. You'll be fine. Be fine, Marty. Those armadas typically don't last very long anyway. Don't forget to like the stream. Appreciate that, Looney. Appreciate it. If I haven't already, joined the Discord as well. But just to keep reminding, I need more people to do the survey. We just hit 100 people who have done patch 51, and that helps out. Remember though, I really need you EU players, because tomorrow when I do the video tomorrow, I'm gonna get a lot of US players because I usually release stuff during US time. But I really would love more EU players in this month. I want y'all better represented, so please, I know this is annoying, but spam it on your Discords and your Alliance. Everything helps out. Don't underestimate burning. Burning is not really useful in a solo armada unless you are going after with a particular officer. For example, Tal works first armadas, and if you wanted to use Tal, in theory you could. I don't know how much more effective that would be. Honestly, haven't tried it. I don't think it would be that much more effective, but you could use Tal. Dustin says, of the Constitution class, I like TOS, early TOS Enterprise with the Star Collectors, Reflected Dish Spike, and the TOS series, and etc. refit. Cool. Well, I think everybody likes those. You do have one of those skins in the game. You do not have the movie refit in, but there is the, ignore the play graphic. You do have this skin in the game now. I would love them to add more things like this. I think this is one of the things that makes the game great, is having stuff like this. This like really scratches my collector's itch. I think they need to have more in here, but I love this skin. Absolutely love this skin. Hey Colin, how you doing? Totally agree with you about choosing what you participate in. Game is a lot more enjoyable now that I've decided to ignore certain aspects. I love that, Colin. Just take your time. Again, I really try to harp. Not that I think the game is bad, but simply from an enjoyability standpoint. You will enjoy this game more when you finally accept that leveling up is not the goal. The goal is being good at your level, and when you've completed that goal, moving up. Because there is nothing up top. Go ask any level 60 player. They'll tell you right now the two things. The economy sucks, and I'm bored. There's nothing to do. So, is there any sourcing for Strange New World La'an? I don't see her shards. My man is full. There is no sourcing in terms of like a daily refine. No. There is none. Like the JJ effect on the cells, that part I hate. Goodness. You can tell I did not sweep it all the way around. So, Benny says, just hit Ops 34 today, focusing on getting my Vidar and Franklin done before I move up. Anything else I should consider in the mix? Well, do you already have your ship picked out? Like, you know what you're going for as a level 34 player? Are you doing your epic ship? And how are you doing on several other things, like your away teams? I'm really big on away teams because they can really expedite your acquisition process for ships. And speaking of, go to my away teams and Pylon. Let's get our Pylon BP for the day. There we go. Got to pull that every day. I'm still working on it, ladies and gentlemen. Still working on it. Really would like another shot at Hugh. Only 20 more shots. Well, Red and Evil, if you are level 40 plus, you can go after Hugh because he's in your refinery. If you're not level 40 plus, you'll just have to wait. But I am like 5 shards away. I'm hoping tomorrow I can get that done. Hoping tomorrow. We'll see. In fact, I'm going to do what I don't want to do, but I do want to get him tomorrow, which means I actually do need to go and pull solo directives. Oh, this is painful. Mathematically, though, I'm better. I should actually tear up the Talios first before doing it. I should tear up the Talios first before doing it. Pylum is life. I plan on getting the Pylum and the core, but here she is. Pretty, pretty, pretty. All right, let's go back to the refinery. Borg, solos, and now it's 140, which is, let's bring out our calculator. 35,800 divided by 140 is 255 charged nanoprobes per one directive versus this one over here, which is going to be what, 280 per? Yeah, 288 per. So much more efficient to use the Talios one versus the Vidar one. But I'm only doing that because I want to run more solos tomorrow so that I can make sure I'm getting, or at least try to get Tal. Math approved. We love math. Efficiency's big. Efficiency's big. I mean, if you can afford to do both, go for it. I'm going to go do this again because remember, every time you tier up something like in a refinery, it resets. That means I can go do this grind again and do this pull again. So, yay. We love math. Love math. Can you give us any hints about the next arc? No. Today we are focusing on, remember, I don't give hints until an arc is done. We're not done grading this arc. We're not done going over this arc. So I don't give hints until we finish an arc. And as you can clearly see, we are covered in Borg right now. So I'm going to do this first. And then this week, throughout YouTube and throughout Twitch, we will drop some hints. Now, March 3rd, which is this upcoming Friday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, we will have the State of the Game podcast live on my Twitch channel. State of the Game will be live on Twitch this upcoming Friday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, which would be around midnight UK time. If anybody wants to participate, it'll be myself, Ultimate DJ, Eco, and whoever else we can drag from Scopely into that. Shield to Share mug arrived, was really fast delivery, less than a week. US to Finland. Heck yeah, Oons. I'm glad you enjoy it. I don't have the Shield to Share mug, but I do have the Be Authentically You mug from my store. And if this coffee was not cold, I would drink it. But, hey, Captain Archer. How you doing, bud? I'm actually watching Star Trek Enterprise right now. So, shout out to Star Trek Enterprise. So we can harass Eco, get your pitchforks. I mean, I will admit that I am going to, I'm very excited to take these results to him because he was pretty adamant with me that people were going to enjoy. And again, this is not to shame Eco. This is just, he's a player in the game. And this is his opinion because this is how he plays. He was pretty adamant that he thought players were going to enjoy the expansion cube loop. They were going to like running solos than going to expansion cubes and the coordination. I was pretty adamant that players were going to hate it. And I'm curious to see if the survey backs that up, if players' voices back that up. I'm going to need at least over 1,000 players to participate before I can even give a generalized response to that. But I'm a strong believer that like nobody's really going to like them. Personally, strong believer. So, Op City 3 never done an expansion cube. Newfie, I'm ignoring them too because the math on them just doesn't make sense for me. Like it's not good. Math on them is not worth doing. So I'm ignoring. You know what I'm actually going to do? Because cargo hold, swap, swap. Where's my tally? There we go, baby. Let me get my levels up. Spam. Still benefited that Scopely snafu back in 2019. I'm over here taking advantage of it. I'm gonna actually go up here and grind my tally. There we go. Up we go. Dustin says, from what I understand from Rev and Admiral Pegasus, it is better to tier up your ships first and always do the research after. I agree. I mean, because, and the reason is usually there's like an efficiency there, especially with anything that has a refinery. As you can see, like with the Borg, when I tier it up, I'm going to get more probes. Now, the Talios, after about tier 7, tier 8, the efficiency of this really drops off. It's not great. It starts off really good, though. It's much better than the Vidar recharged nano probes early on. Later, it gets kind of bad. But all of this is immediately better. That's why I focus on it first. So I was at 410 before, now I'm at 460 of independent credits a day and 900 faction credits a day. So, is there Max Alliance rep to do? So the Max Alliance reputation is 10 million. I'm at 9.7. And that's honestly just because I haven't been running enough to max it out yet. But I also am bottlenecked not by my Alliance rep, but by the Starbase level for certain researches. Franklin especially really benefits getting tier 9 less painful. Agreed, Zoltar. Tough says, did my first expansion cube chest pull, got some Armada credits and 191,000 charged nanoprobes and 8 Borg Queen charged. Okay, so again, the expansion cube chest payout is solid. Like, it's not bad, but the amount of work that you have to go in to get that, the rewards are good. Does the work justify the rewards? For me personally, it does not. I've seen the rewards, and I agree that the Talios expansion cube edition, the expansion cube rewards are pretty solid in terms of what it's paying out generally. Now, obviously, RNG is a big factor there. Some people are going to get worse payouts than others, but it's just not worth the amount of work that I have to deal with for me. So that's why I'm ignoring it until they make that process better. And I find a lot of people are doing the same thing. When roughly does the Talios get better than the Vidar for grinding? Wet coach, that really depends. Like, if you got a tier 9 Vidar but no skin, then the Talios can be better at tier 1 or tier 2. If you've got a skin for your Vidar and you've got all the stuff done for it and all the research, yada yada, probably tier 3 or tier 4 for the Talios takes up. Well, tier 3. But you see my cargo hold for the Talios is 1.4 million without any officers on it right now. And that's significantly more than I can do with my Vidar, and I can actually fill that Talios up. So, oof, I need to punch a little bit smaller hostiles in this. I need to punch a little bit smaller hostiles in this. It's only 4 million. I forget that I was doing it with a 13 million or before. Team directives is also a hassle. Maybe getting enough directors to run 3 armadas over 2 months. That is definitely a slow process. I'm actually going to go down a little bit because forget this thing is not near as strong as what I'm used to grinding with. Derek says, I wanted expansion cubes to work. Scopeless seems to be trending towards a full-time scheme. But people started this as a mobile game. They ain't got time for all that. Derek, that's why I said you can definitely enjoy this game without doing everything in this game. I'm a 100% believer. You can enjoy this game without doing everything every day in this game. And it's just getting people to adopt that. And once they do, I find players like it a heck of a lot more. That's what I found. That's what I found. They enjoy it a heck of a lot more. Looking at all my feedback. Talios is tier 4 and was better at tier 3 for probes. Yeah, that's about right, Dennis. Again, things like the skin, everything really apply for that. And obviously, some people do use the exo comps. The exo comps for the Vidar, which makes that process faster. But yeah. Right now, the plan of my alliance is to get to the op 60 first, then worry about expansion cubes. Yeah, I'm not worried about expansion cubes at all. Again, I don't think that the payout is terrible. It's just, I think you're going to enjoy the game in so many other ways more, doing it other ways. All right, 9 rounds. It's still a little long for a PMC fight. But I like using my Talios. I want to see how it does tier 3. Grinding. EU sub, the grading is in. Couldn't answer some things from my own experience. Relied on described or what I've seen on stream, but tried my best. Hey, that's completely okay, Ross. Completely okay. All I can ask for you is to please share this out with more people. My goal was to have 200 people do it before we wrapped up. We're going to be streaming about 20 more minutes, and we're at 125 people who've responded so far. Hopefully, over the next 24 hours, you EU players will do your utmost to share this out. Can we petition to decrease events on Sundays? No. No. I will never petition to decrease events. It is your choice as a player to do things or not do things. I will not petition to decrease events because you're going to find you're in the minority on that one. The key is, for one, the events on Sunday haven't even increased unless you're including all the battle pass stuff going on. So just don't do everything. Stop letting the game dictate what you do. If you on Sunday do your swarms, if it even applies to you, a lot of people don't even do swarms anymore. Do your anomalous phenomenon, do your dailies. That's it. Everything else is bonus. Like right now, I'm grinding Bajorn because I need it. I'm done with all the other stuff. I mean, I'll do probes later just because I just tiered up the Talios. But you don't have to do all these. Honestly, Threat from Beyond, the only reason for me to do this is for transporter patterns. That's the only reason for me to do Threat from Beyond is for transporter patterns. The payouts are super meh. I'd be doing it for transporter patterns. Darren, it is frowned upon to share links if you're not the content creator, because I don't know what any of that's coming from. Yes, it's definitely frowned upon. Andre says, I have to say, I like the expansion queue mechanic because it leaves something completely new, but it demands a lot of communication. Hey, and look, Andre, what I want you to do is provide that. If you liked it, please go put that in the form. Please say that. And because I think that feedback is genuine, and it's good to get more feedback that's varied. And if there are reasons to like it, I want that to be known. I really do. Oh, forgotten. I've already done my anomalous phenomenon. So, already done my anomalous phenomenon. Did that basically as soon as we started. So, just too hard to amass the directives. The directive sourcing and the level of work needed is a pain in the butt. It's a pain in the butt. And again, that's why I'm not a huge fan. I don't think that the rewards are bad. I just don't necessarily think it's worth focusing on. Sunday events are easy. Agreed. Sunday events are easy. They're also easy to ignore. Because for me, the anomalous phenomenon is the only must-do thing on Sunday. Kind of like how Cosmic Cleanup is must-do on Saturday. But Swarm Sunday for me at level 45 is not must-do anymore unless I just want the transporter pattern. Now, I'll still do my daily's worth when it comes to, hey, tactical mandates. There's another thing I'll never do. Also do it just to complete my swarm events to make sure I'm doing my dailies. But like, there's not this need at my level to complete Swarm Sunday because the payouts are so meh. Now, if you've got the extra time, awesome, do it. But the payouts just aren't super great. Hammy says, been very cool to play the game for 4 years, but I decided let's go, but delete my game. It's hard for me to let it go, but I'm not enjoying the game anymore. Hammy, as I said, man, hopefully you come back. And all I can say is recommend this to everybody. You got to pick and choose what you do. Don't let the game determine it. I think the community in the game is fun, even though the game gets in its own way a lot of times. Exactly what Pokey says. Being a completionist sometimes made the game feel like a job. Selecting what I play made it fun for me. Exactly how I am. And I realize that's difficult for some people to do. But I think if you want to enjoy this game, be picky and choosy about what you do, and you'll enjoy the game a heck of a lot more. These payouts are just too low for me to bother doing this with the Talios. I just need to hit the big ones. My Talios is too small for this to be an effective run. The Chintalon pack was a huge hit with some of the lower level ops players. Hey, man. That's the pack I designed. I'm very proud of that pack. If you're a spender, especially on a newer server or have not done it yourself, that is one of the few times that Rev will be like, yeah, this is what you spend money on. So, how's Company of Heroes 3 gameplay? I'm loving it, both. I will admit, as much as I'm loving it, I'm going to have to pause on it because I've got to go finish Hogwarts. I haven't finished Hogwarts either. So, haven't finished Hogwarts either. What I might do is tonight on server 93, I'm doing a town hall. What I might do is I'll stream Hogwarts while doing their town hall. We'll see. I have two accounts, 49 and 22. I have more fun at times on my lower account. I've really been having fun on my level 29 account. So I can feel that. Want to see Miss Garlic more? Oh, I've definitely got a crush on Miss Garlic. And for everybody in chat who judges grown men who lust after, animated characters, I don't care. She's a waifu. Arch says, very true. As Ops 46, I frequently miss Swarm Sunday. Time away from game is a good idea sometimes. It gives you a fresh look. Agreed. For a certain level or tier to get the Talios before you get better than Vidar. Zorgo, we actually just answered that. Depends on if you have the skin. By tier 3, though, it's probably going to be better. If you don't have the skin, tier 2 to tier 1. Defiant wants some love. That's a lot of titanium. Has a lot of titanium, but the Defiant demands it, so we must give. A tier 6 Defiant is a crit hoe. He sucks up the crit. And Cryo, I have 2 of this month's officers. I don't have the Queen. I'm about halfway to the Queen, but I do have Dazak and Goza. And I met on both of them. And that'll reflect in my grading. I just don't think the officers this month were very good. I don't think they're very good. Storm says, good afternoon. Good afternoon to you. want to say thank you. Turned off 24 today. Never had more fun in my life. Wow. Holy crap. I'm glad you're enjoying the game that much. Salute to you. Also, do me a huge solid, Norm. Go fill out that survey. Let me know what you think about this month. Grade the game as a player of your level. We definitely need more players from lower levels. Not only do we need more EU players, we need more lower level players to grade the game as well. Like right now, there have only been one player level 20 to 24 who has answered the patch 51 survey so far. I've actually got more level 15s and stuff that have than level 20s. So the biggest group that has answered my survey so far is level 40 through 44. So we need as much variance as possible. And there's only 37% of you from the EU. So EU people, get to work, you lazy sons of guns. Share the link throughout, Norm. It's right there in the chat. It's that form link. Hey, Fenris, how you doing, man? Shout out to the Fenris Rangers. That's a Picard reference. If y'all haven't watched Star Trek Picard, you should. Paul, thank you for participating. I really appreciate it. And of course, y'all are not required to, but I'm a firm believer that these surveys have historically shown. Ever since I started doing player surveys last year, we have seen those surveys turn into direct improvement in the game. And while the game is not amazing at this point, I'm not arguing that it is. I do think the game has strongly improved as more player feedback has been listened to. And as frustrated as players might be in today's game at various times, it is undeniable that today's game is far better than it was 2 or 3 years ago. I'm sorry, I don't see how anybody can argue anything else. You experienced this game 3 years ago and compare it to today, this game is so much better. And a lot of that is because they finally started listening to player feedback. That does not mean they do it enough. They definitely need to do it more. But this game has improved tremendously due to a renewed, or hell, a new importance on player feedback. Dustin says, in 2 months, I went from Ops 0 to 17. That's pretty impressive, Dustin. Hey, Pegasus, how you doing? Does Cerritos unlock the lower decks officers in an acquirable form? It does, Nathan. So give me a second, I'll actually show you that. So at level, 36, when you get your Cerritos, you will also get the Cerritos refinery. Ooh, let me pull all this real quick. Need to get as much Lorca as I can, because I do have the Discovery skin, and there's one Lorca shard. But you do get a refinery that opens up, and it pays out all the lower deck officers. So if I hit the support, now I don't have any to pull right now, but you can see, there you go. All of them are there. And it is pretty solid sourcing. It's not Strange New World level good with the Mantis, but it's still pretty solid. Fun to see your old videos and see how much your kiddos have aged you. Damn, Nathan, that's kind of awful. Brianna is not a fan of ops locking the Talios. I'm not a fan of ops locking anything, but I agree with you. Yeah. Not a fan of any ops locks. Did you watch the second episode of Picard? I have. I've watched the second episode. Remember, no spoilers. No spoilers on Star Trek Picard, but I have watched the second episode. He did call me old. I think a lot of it's the beard, too. If I shave the beard, it helps. But then again, I have been doing this for 4 years. I literally started doing this in my 20s, and now I'm in my 30s. So, hey, Octagon Ron, good to see you. Hope I'll have the experience day where Leslie is not working on PvP events anymore. I actually like that, Andre. Maybe I'm biased, but I like that. That helps me. Maybe I'm biased, though. I mean, obviously I'm biased. I like that. All right, let me speed this up. And we're going to put our Baldor up here, because that's my primary grind ship. I feel like there's nothing below decks. All right, there's crap below decks. That would be why. Who's the healthiest officer available? Get up there. There we go. It's really hard to get the board directives if you're using all your charge project growth of the ship. Yeah, same boat. I'm focusing on the Talios first. And once my Talios is tier 5, tier 6, which will be max for where I'm at, I will swap over. Hey, Joel, how you doing, buddy? We are discussing month 2 here of Borg. We're wrapping it up, doing some review, and yeah. You're right, I've never watched Gumby, so I don't know anything about the Gumby lore and the Gumby franchise. You are right about that. I need one Orion blueprint. Is there a system I can grind in? Orion. Literally the Orion system. Go grind there. Should drop you a blueprint. Doug says, I just don't see the Luna class, useless Titan. All right. Yeah, it's a whole Star Trek related question. Nothing to do with STFC. Ops 45, hitting ops locks for several special ships. Can't imagine paying the trit cost for higher tiers. They remove the locks. While true, Nathan, I don't think that's the real reasoning. I don't think that they're trying to protect players. I think it just comes down to they want people to level up, because the higher level you go, the more incentivized you will be to spend. And I am one of those people that I'm a firm believer that players should spend because they want to, not because they have to. If you level up, what you're going to run into, if you're listening to the sound of my voice, is you are going to run into the need to spend. It is basically impossible to be a level 50, I'll just, let me say, level 53 plus player in today's game and not be spending money. And I'm not saying that to be negative. It's just a fact. You can do most things in the game without spending money if you take time, and then you should choose to spend it if you want to. Battle Pass, see the value? Go after it. You know, rep packs, see the value? Sure, go after it. But I'm talking about literally needing to spend to play every day. And that's what the high and mid 50s are. I try to, you know, remind people that, yeah, leveling up can be good, but just because you want a max Defiant doesn't mean you need a max Defiant. Are the Titan and Stargazer the same class of Fed ship? No, they are not. They're two different classes. Is there a reason Jayla seems to increase my Borg probe loot? She shouldn't affect it at all unless you are using a Franklin. Now, do you mean 5 of 11? Which Titan do you want in Star Trek Fleet Command? I would want the Titan from Lower Decks, not the Neo Constitution class. A merch shipped? Awesome, Pokey. I'm excited. I can't wait to see it. Really been enjoying seeing people with the merch. By the way, if y'all don't know, we do have a merch store, and this way you can actually get something for supporting me. Here's our merch store here. We got t-shirts, mugs. I mean, we've got mouse pads. Literally support the channel and get some cool swag. We've got lady stuff, men's stuff, hats, beanies, and even t-shirts that Rev himself has designed. Like this no loot, no shoot. I've got a ladies pirate and a guy's pirate t-shirt in varying colors and sizes, and we're not even charging ridiculous prices. We're charging just, hey, support the channel, get something for it. Appreciate everybody who does support doing that, and if you're watching this, go get the form. Do the form. Do the survey. Appreciate everybody who supports the channel. It means the world to me that y'all would want to make me keep doing this horrible grind that is Star Trek. Survey links right above you, Edward. Survey links right above you. Badar, 5 as captain with Jayla on the side, getting 21k per 36. Jayla should not be affecting that at all. Jayla should not be affecting that at all. That should just be 5 of 11 affecting it. Ooh, what's this one I've done? What's this? Oh, swarm attack. Swarm attack. I haven't hit swarms. What? Where's swarm attack? What? Oh, the fleet commander. There it is. Paul, thank you for signing to be a cadet on the channel supporting. There it is. Take it. Ticket event. Folks, thanks for heading out. I'm glad you enjoyed the stream. Thank you for doing the survey. Please do me a solid. Share it with your alliance. We need to push it. We are going to be live for a few more minutes, and we are at 172. I need 30 more people in this stream. Go do the survey. And then we, of course, will be having our video tomorrow where I go through my personal grading. But I always love to give the people who are in stream some type of early bonus. You know, thank y'all for being here and supporting the channel. So thank you, Edward. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. You said Twitch tonight for Hogwarts. I'm thinking about that, fat bearded math teacher. Like I said, I'm going to be with Server 93 in their voice chat. answering Star Trek questions. I think I might actually stream Hogwarts at the same time. We'll see. So if y'all would be interested in that, I'm not sure how interested y'all would be, but if y'all are interested in that, I'm thinking about streaming while answering questions. Just complete your 3 million mining grind. Wow. Kudos to you for putting up with that. Rev could never. I could never. Kudos to you for putting up with that. You're an amazing human being. You're a much better human than I. I can't do it. I ignored it. Not worth it. I personally find it not worth it. I personally find it not worth it. Where's the link to the survey, Nathan? I've been sharing it throughout the stream. Feel free to grab it. I did the 3 million trip mining in 27 hours. John, you hardcore. You're the reason that we're getting a t-shirt design that says Deuce's Donuts. You're going to be one of Rev's donuts. You're one of those crazy people who goes hardcore. And we respect you, but you're a donut. You're Deuce's Donut. We love it. Does OPC count towards mining? OPC counts towards raiding events, not mining. It will count towards raiding events, but not mining. I did the survey based on my new account. Figured you'd have enough 40 plus. Thank you, Fielden. In fact, Fielden, if you wouldn't mind, I don't think this is wrong. If you play 2 accounts, you can do the survey from 2 different points of view. Feel free to do it from your high-level account as well. So, you should tell Scopely to random a battle pass for those that filled the survey. I give away battle passes already, but what I might do, forgotten if you aren't aware, I do give away my own merch. I don't know if you'd be interested in a t-shirt. We gave away a t-shirt last night. My completionist wants Tal, but $50. Pa, I can give you real quick what Tal can do for you. If you want him, this is for you to determine. Number 1, Tal is useful in base defense. Very useful in base defense. Number 2, Tal can make your Actian hostile grinding so much better. If you're a higher level player, you will love Tal and Actian hostiles. You'll take your Pylum or your Coronar or whatever out, take on the 49 Actians and fill it up and get, 400, 300,000 like that. It'll take you like 4 hits. And then finally can make Capital Trader grinding better for you as well. Those 3 things are the focus. Those 3 things are the focus. And if you find value in those, there you go. Benjamin, I will put the link to the survey on my Discord, but I'm going to put it in the video first. So it'll be part of the video tomorrow, and then we'll go from there. Hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the like button. What the heck is the light button? Is that the help button? What is the light button? For crew with Tau for Actian. So a couple different ones you can run, depends on where you're at. Pike, Giorgio, Tau, or you can actually just run Giorgio, Stan, Tau. Depends on if you got enough whole health to kind of like survive through that. Fleet Commander, I actually want to check this. Was this? Destroy explorers with a battleship. Damn it, I was doing it the wrong way. Then destroy battleships with interceptors. Capital Traders heavy. This is for fighting heavies, Pokey. The Tau can be more effective fighting heavies than the Bev Mud Con crew. So, you run 5 Cath Talon on my Mantis. Yuck. My Mantis, I run 5 Stan 4. That's what I run. Another option would be to run the critical crew, like with Gorkon. We're almost at 200 people from the survey today who have answered, so shout out to y'all. We are at 34% are from the EU. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. This is awful of me, but I'm sorry. Europeans, you're lazy. I know there are more Europeans watching right now. There's like 400 people, 300 people. Europeans are lazy. What is this? What is this laziness? Again, Benjamin, the survey will come out tomorrow when I do the video. Right now, we're just sharing it here in the live stream. But it will come out after I post the video. Thank you, Dishman. I appreciate it. I'm in the EU, but on Apex server. Survey done. Thank you, Pilot. I do about 25 heavies per Pilot hole. John, is that with Pipe Maro Talon or what? Aloof is not lazy. Like it. I like it. I'm not lazy. I'm just aloof. I like it. I like it. John, good to see you. The queen didn't tell me to do it, so they can't do it. Damn. Well, rest in peace, the queen. They have a king now, Eck. They have a king now. King Charles the Third, I think. Which number is he? You get 115 heavies per pylon hole? Chad, how the hell? Are you like level 60? How do you, what? Pike Cath Talon. All right, yeah, I don't have a tier 5 Cath. My Cath is tier 3, so. It's not laziness, it's called getting old. Relatable. My knees groan every time my kids want me to pick them up. Jim says his expansion cubes are indeed cumbersome, but we have a tight alliance and we really like working together. It could be improved in many ways. Compared to base assaults, it's much better. I'm here for it, man. Please put that into the survey. I want all opinions. You're a puppy, thank you. If I run full synergy Strange New World with Pike, Hammer, etc., I can kill so many 49 traders and capital systems, doesn't matter if it's heavy or not. So eat them alive. Nice, Fielden. You're not doing that on your new account, though. And that's why I listed, by the way, as the third. Tal can help with heavies, but he might not be the best. It depends on the individual account. Can't pick my kid up anymore. 13 and 5'10". You can do it, Zolderton. I believe in you. Comparing any assaults to a feature to assaults isn't fair. Yeah, I mean, to me, this is a D feature. Assaults is like one of the few Fs in history, but yeah. Comparing anything to base assaults, it will be better. Root canals are better than assaults. Getting in the head with a brick is better. All right, I'm gonna start disagreeing with you now. You're being a little bit dramatic. I would much rather get an assault done than be hit in the head with a brick, which would be a literal assault. So. No faith in surveys, and it's not represented or reflect the entire play-based opinions, but the effort's appreciated. Surreal, you're wrong on 2 points. Scopely has already said that I reach between 15 and 25% of the game, which is actually a large enough populace to get a good reflection of what a game's populace believes. So you're wrong on that point. And the second point is we've actually seen, and I've actually made videos showing how my surveys have led to direct change in the game. So yes, they in fact do on your other point as well. And when it comes to statistics, I reach and participate with a large enough player base for the surveys to matter. It's not superficial at all. It matters and it has literal effect in the game. If you choose not to participate, that is your choice. But the math backs up my surveys. And all we care about at the end of the day is your opinion. And math helps verify your opinion. Gotta have math. I can't just go and say, hey, players say this. I have to have the math. That's why the surveys are important. How many fragments should an expansion cube give when killing it with a team of Talios? Depends on the expansion cube. Which expansion cube are you fighting, Pilar? We can math it out though. We had a group run assaults one day this month because they were bored. That says a lot. Yeah. Fair. Fair. You get painkillers after getting hit with a brick. You get nothing after a star-based assault. Yikes. Yikes. I don't want to get hit with a brick, though. I just don't. I can't believe Surreal said that's superficial. Like, I reach between 70 and 80,000 people a month. And to say that's superficial to me is silly. That's a little silly. Like, I get being frustrated with the game, and I acknowledge they don't listen to players as much as they should. I'm not going to sit here and say things like surveys aren't important. I mean, it's very clear they are. You can definitely run to response bias, but that's also when you have variance. That's why I'm also not the only one doing it. You know, Scopely has their own survey team as well. Statistically speaking, 50% of the whole population is huge. Agreed, David. I mean, if you look up statistics, like you actually go out and go into the real world, go get political surveys that are done and all these things that are done. You're talking about such a small portion of the populace getting surveyed for various opinions on things, and those would be used as official documents. The fact that I can reach 15% of the game according to Scopely is a pretty big deal. No faith in stats? Oh, that's fine. I have big faith in numbers, but I'm a big numbers guy. Thank you, Red and Evil. Appreciate it. Could use a new video on research priority. Eddie, yeah, we have so many research trees. That would be a good idea. You know, fat bearded math teachers, see, we speak of response bias. The fat bearded math teacher is definitely biased towards anything that's numbers related. I blame the fat bearded math teacher for having response bias in my chat. But like, I can also say this, just to give you an example though, Surreal. Myself and DJ, you see this Borg refinery right here? You wanna know one of the reasons it's as high as it is? Me and DJ, before this arc launched, we provided direct feedback on this refinery. And we got it to be higher than it was. That's direct feedback resulting in direct change. The only reason I knew that this needed to be higher was math. Was knowing what the players would have said if a tier 1 Talios paid the exact same as a tier 9 Bedard. I'm not saying that my channel and surveys are the end all be all, because they're not, because I don't work for Scopely, nor do I run Scopely. My power is limited, but the power of the player's voices does matter. So, now Chris, I will disagree with you, because I do believe that the independent and the faction end of the Talios refinery is amazing. Now, is the entire Talios refinery amazing? No, but that section is. That section is. Surveys do not help. Surreal, again, I have literal proof that they have taken surveys I've made and made direct changes in the game. I'm not sure, like, I have videos showing that. So I guess my then counter to you would, what do you say when I have proof that they've taken a survey and said that we changed based on this? What then? Is that just like a random deviation? Doug says your survey sample size is plain large. Arguments can be made about it not being random. No, I agree with that. Look, I do agree that the people who follow content creators are a special subsection of the game, which does not represent everybody, which is also why I really try to push, hey, please share this out in game. Please share this out with Discord. Because the people who come to live streams are not the same type of player who's out there playing the game. So, yeah, I'm just going to be honest with y'all. Everybody who qualifies to be a Deuce's donut is not the same as your average everyday player. Y'all are the hardcores. Y'all are the ones who really want this game to succeed. Y'all love it more than a lot of people, which means that how you feel and how you see the game is going to be different than the average person out there, you know, and that's legitimate. And that's part of that response bias we're talking about. But at the same time, that doesn't make the responses illegitimate. So, for the best subset, I agree, Chris, you are the best subset. People who follow me, DJ, well, Beck, when she was doing content, now she's a community manager. You know, No One Shall, Pegasus, Black Half Dan, well, we get him to do content again. LaRooster, I Am Highlanders. People who follow content creators are definitely the best. No bias. No bias. Fielder says surveys may do help, but maybe what you're asking for is infeasible or is in the minority opinion. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Look, there have been plenty of times where I've had a survey that says players want this, and they were like, no. That's legitimately happened. Okay, so I can't say just because the survey is there, that means they're going to go, well, we've got to open up the box and change it all. I will say it has an effect, and there are things that they do based on surveys. And not just my surveys, by the way, their own surveys. I am not the end-all be-all. Just because I have a name on my hat doesn't make me that important. But they do listen. Hardcore gamers or us come and watch and follow, comment, and stream. Yeah, exactly. Like a great example of that before we wrap up the stream. Remember, we learned last month that 6% of the game as of January 2023 had maxed a Vidar. I legitimately thought that would have been around 30 to 45%, maybe even 50. I was way off. So there's even biases that I have. Attraction, I'm going to try to follow up after this month and see what it is. I would say, I would be surprised if that percentage hasn't doubled. But I bet it's at least over 10% now. The hardcore people are also the most likely to spend. They are. Yeah. Like, heavy spenders and level 60s and all, they're on Discord. Hell, You've got Bubba and Trader, who are guests, regular personalities on DJ show that are, I think Bubba's 59, but Trader's been 60 for a while. I mean, they're very active. It doesn't, Zephyr, because I know how many active daily players there are, and it's a bunch. We're talking about in the hundreds of thousands. So it's not like there's only 15,000 people playing this game, and it's just such a low number. There's a crap ton of people playing this game because we've got a pretty damn high population. Shirt will still be 6%. Yeah, Pokey, the shirt that we're getting designed by Blue Dog Graphics will still be 6%. But anyway, we're going to wrap up. I appreciate everybody being here, and I appreciate whether you agree with me or disagree with me. All opinions are welcome. We are going to have a video out tomorrow where I provide my feedback based off my personal grading, and then of course that will include the link to go out global. My goal would be to get 2,000 people to do a grading survey. The most I've ever had do an individual survey was I think 6,000 or 7,000 players. Grading surveys being a little bit more in-depth, a little bit more expansive. I can't expect as many people to do it. They see it and they're like, too much work, which I respect. But I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully we get a higher portion of EU players this go around, just to make sure that they're well represented. But appreciate all of y'all. Y'all are amazing. Live long and prosper. Stay safe for their Space Cowboys. Deuces, that's me. Catch you on the next one, which I will let y'all know on my Discord if I will stream tonight doing the stuff. And if y'all want to help support the channel so I can do more stuff like I currently do, join the Discord, donate to the channel, PayPal, Venmo, Cash App. Any bit helps. Literally, if you send $1, I will thank you. And if you buy something from the merch store, you get a personalized thank you. So I appreciate all of y'all. You're all amazing. I'm out.
An even better outro than the intro. For the Empire and glory to your house.